But for others, the responsibility is more personal.
Every step is a drain on precious energy. The Earth itself is a relentless adversary, offering no relief. For the matriarch, this is not a choice. It is a memory, etched into her very being. Crocodile River, a formidable barrier on their long journey south. For here, the apex predators of the river have held dominion for millions of years.
In the chaos, sentinels like this stallion are the herd's early warning system, their finely tuned senses screaming danger.
In a mass of thousands, individual will is lost to momentum. It only takes one.
And they are not the only ones drawn to this theater of life and death.
But there is experience here too, a wisdom passed down through generations.
But for the herd, the weight is agonizing. A single consciousness.
crucible of fear, two instincts collide. The explosive panic of the hunted and the unshakable resolve of a protector.
For the great herd, the river is both promise and peril, the fresh grazing lands of the mile. For the leaders, a terrible calculus. To stay is to starve.
Individuals caught in the press, the terror is absolute. Every sense is screaming danger.
A single panicked step is all it will take to begin the deadly plunge.
Pressure is too great. The fall of one becomes the catalyst for all. Hesitation is replaced by a torrent of instinct.
Survival means overcoming two great challenges.
In the heart of the chaos, instinct transcends fear. A mother's will becomes an unstoppable force.
But the most ancient danger has not yet revealed itself. It hunts from a world below.
The lions did not risk the treacherous waters. They simply waited, knowing the river would provide.
For the survivors, there is no time to mourn. The journey is relentless.
But the river is never truly safe. Its oldest residents are always waiting.
But for the great herd, the river is not an end. It is an obstacle.
In this maelstrom, there is no room for grief.
Is not just about crossing the water. The final, most exhausting challenge is the land itself.
For this one family, the ordeal is over. A successful crossing.
This one, the ordeal is over. But the journey is not. The Serengeti waits for no one.
Survival here is a deeply personal victory, but it is won in the heart of a maelstrom. For the one, the struggle's over. But for the herd, the ordeal has just begun.
On the banks, another drama plays out.
Beneath the surface, the river claims its due. Nothing is wasted. Patience is their weapon. Generations of predators have learned that the river will provide.
For a mother, there is no instinct more powerful than the drive to protect her young.
Panic is as deadly as any predator. In the desperate scramble for the far bank, the herd becomes its own worst enemy.
Every strike sends a shockwave of terror through the crossing. Panic is as deadly as any predator.
And the danger is not confined to the water. On the banks, the masters of the ambush watch for any sign of weakness.
They seek the stragglers, the exhausted, the ones whose fight for survival has left them with nothing in reserve.
Blood in the water triggers a primal fear. Panic is now as great a danger as the predators themselves.
For those that make it across, the ordeal is not over. Danger does not only lurk in the water. The chaos of the crossing provides opportunity for the hunters of the plains.
every victory, there is a cost. The loss of a protector leaves the most vulnerable exposed. For those swept from the herd, the chaos of the crossing gives way to a new, more solitary terror.
This is the unforgiving rhythm of the plains. But this peace is bought at a price. For every survivor, the river
Only hours before.
In the chaos, the bond between mother and calf is the strongest force and the most vulnerable. To turn back is to defy 1,000,000 years of instinct. She is not just fighting the river.
Separated from his mother, the calf's strength is fading last. In this chaos, to be alone is to be doomed.
But the crocodiles are not the only hunters drawn to the river's deadly theatre. For the lions, the crossing is an opportunity. They wait for the exhausted, the injured, the isolated.
instinct is absolute. But against a coordinated pride, courage alone is rarely enough.
Lions have waited for this. An isolated target, exhausted from the crossing. It's the moment of maximum opportunity. For the pride, teamwork ensures a kill with minimal risk. For the calf, there is no escape.
This is the unforgiving calculus of the savannah.
For the matriarch, a devastating loss. For the pride, a vital reprieve.
It is a bond forged in the heart of the wild, and it will not be broken today. An unforgettable display of a mother's power. A victory against one of the river's ancient assassins. For one family, a victory. But for others, the ordeal is far from over. Single, perfectly timed kick. It carries the force of a sledgehammer, capable of shattering bone.
Hunt is over. The lioness is stunned, her shoulder likely broken. She is now a liability to the pride.
In this unforgiving land, survival is not just for the hunters.
Victory for one does not guarantee safety for all. The river's toll is not yet paid.
learned in blood and bone. For this crocodile, the hunt is over.
For the hunters, a failed attempt is more than a missed meal. It can mean injury, or worse.
But for the prey, survival is everything. A mother's courage.
They have made it through. Scarred, weary, but alive.
A price has been paid, but today, the herd's future is secured by the courage of one.
For the hunters, a failed attempt is more than a missed meal. It is a costly expenditure of energy, and sometimes a painful lesson in respect.
But for the prey, a successful defense is everything. It is the continuation of a bloodline.
Every survivor carries the story of a battle won.
Does not discriminate. It is a gauntlet for all, young and old alike.
And for this matriarch, the instinct to protect is more powerful than the current, more ferocious than any predator. Dangers are not confined to the water. On the banks, the pride is waiting.
river is not the only gauntlet. For those who make it across, a new set of opportunists awaits.
In this theater of survival, victory for one is not a guarantee for all. But the bond between a mother and her calf is one of nature's most powerful forces.
And in this moment, she is not prey. She is the aggressor.
A single, well-placed kick can deliver over 2,000 pounds of force, enough to shatter bone.
For this hunter, the crossing is over. For the stallion, survival is the reward for courage. Every survivor that reaches the shore, another gauntlet awaits. The river's predators are not the only hunters here today.
A kick with the force to shatter bone.
For the masters of the river, the time of plenty is over. Now they return to the long wait.
For the hunters, failure brings a heavy price. An injury like this can be a death sentence.
A single, perfectly aimed kick delivers over 3,000 pounds of force.
The attack is over. The risk of another devastating injury is a price the pride is unwilling to pay.
For this family, against all odds, the crossing is a success.
A kick from a zebra can shatter bone. Victory is not without its cost. But a mother's resolve is perhaps the most formidable power on these plains.
The river gives and the river takes. Today, it has been denied.
They have reached the promised land. The great migration moves on.
For those who survive, the journey does not end. It simply continues.
Is the reward, the reason for the risk, a land of renewal, earned through courage and endurance. The instinct that drove them across the water now drives them on. For the migration does not end. It is a... The river waits. It is patient. For soon the herds will return. The great...